Terran versus Terran is one of the most complicated matchups in StarCraft 2, but I think today we're gonna get a masterclass. It's time for a top-level game of Terran versus Terran between the number 1 and the number 2 in that specific race. Spawning here in the top left-hand corner of Nightshade, playing with the red Terran SCVs. He's the rank 1 Terran player in the world, he's the most accomplished Terran player of all time, he's got the highest tournament earnings of any pro gamer in StarCraft 2 ever. Of course, that means we're looking inside of the main base of Maru. His opponent, though, definitely no slouch whatsoever. I still feel like a lot of people are sleeping on this man. I know I've said that in like the last dozen casts or so that I've done of this guy right over here. He's currently the number 2. He's still climbing that Terran ladder and he's continuously getting better. Playing here with the blue SCVs, we are looking inside of the main base of Cure. Now here's the thing, right? The reason why people are sleeping on this guy is because he doesn't have any of those premier tournament victories that Maru does have. So Maru, he's earned roughly $773,000 in tournament victories alone. So obviously that does not include team salary and all that. And that makes him the number 1 Terran player on the planet. Also statistically speaking. However, Cure, I mean, as of me making this video, he's earned roughly $73,000. So there's a $700,000 price difference between these two guys. And obviously that's the main reason why a lot of people are not rating Cure nearly as high. But when you look on Legalec, a statistics website that basically just keeps track of all of the online and offline tournament results, there's no denying that Cure is becoming ridiculously good and he's happily climbing that Terran ladder. So we'll see what he's gonna be like in 2020. He's one of my personal favorites. I really do feel like he's gonna be one of the very best next year. So keep an eye out at the very least and see what this man is gonna be able to bring to the table. Now when it comes to Terran versus Terran specifically, Cure actually has a higher rating in TVT than Maru. So I mean, he technically should be a little bit favored here, which is crazy, right? Saying that anyone is favored against Maru is pretty ridiculous. We'll see. Alrighty, so both players looking around the map, trying to figure out if there's anything aggressive coming on their side. Neither of them actually decides to commit right here with the Reaper. Second Reaper, though, is coming up here for Maru. So there's a couple of different ways you can open up in TVT. Wouldn't be surprised to see the command center indeed on the low ground. And he's likely going to move out, I guess, with like the third Reaper and then maybe like the second Hellion. This is something I've seen a few times in the past. So TVT is very complicated primarily because of the siege tank dynamic. So siege tanks can shoot away further than they can see, meaning that you need to continuously get additional vision, which you can really only achieve by having flying units. So there's this weird dynamic between like Marines, siege tanks, and then like Vikings, and then eventually Liberators, sometimes Battlecruisers. Ravens obviously come into the mix as well because of the interference matrix. There's a lot of variety when it comes to Terran versus Terran unit compositions, especially in the late game. And I'm actually curious to see what the late game will look like with the new version of the Thor, right? So the Thor obviously has been very dominant in the Terran versus Zerg and the Terran versus Protoss matchups. We've seen it quite a bit there, especially in TVC. Curious to see if it's gonna come into play in this longer match of TVT as well. So here we go. 2 more Hellions are actually just about to come out here for Cure. He should be okay. Ooh, he does need to move. There you go. The Reaper does get killed as well. Ooh, nice dodge there on that grenade. Cure is gonna try and chase down some of these units as well, but they settle on that high ground. It's not gonna happen. Maru should be able to stand tall over there for at least a little while. Just having that additional vision, being able to get the first shot off is absolutely massive. Now, Maru asking a question right here to Cure. I really wish I spoke Korean. I wish I could tell you exactly what they are saying here. Maybe one of you does. Can you let me know down below in the comment section? I don't know. I'm assuming it's just friendly banter, because when it comes to, like, you know, playing at the highest level... Oh, and by the way, it's a Battlecruiser opener here for Maru. Really cool. But when it comes to, like, playing at the highest level, you only have so many opponents that you can actually practice with. Right? So I'm assuming... I'm assuming that they will practice with each other quite regularly as well. Because, I mean, if you don't practice with the best, you're just gonna stagnate, right? So you need to always continuously be put on your toes. Anyways, Cure does decide to poke right now at the front. There's really not that many defensive units. There's that Cyclone over there, waiting probably for like a Medivac or the very least some sort of drop to come up. Cyclone does right now get routed towards the natural. That should be okay. Bunch of units have died so far though. And even though... I mean, a bunch of these Hellions were bruised up. None of them... Ooh, oh, actually, he's gonna go back in. Alright, 2 Reapers right there in exchange for 1 Hellion. I guess that's a trade that Cure will take, but these Hellions really need to get on out of there. Okay, so it's a Battlecruiser opener. When you go for a Battlecruiser opener in TVT, and he's now even getting weapon refit, so that's the Battlecruiser Yamato cannon upgrade. Very, very powerful. But when you go for this opener, your supply count and the timing of your third base is gonna be quite a little bit slower than your opponent. So right here we see Cure already about I don't know, like halfway or so done with that command center, and it only just now started up there for Maru. He's also going for like a lot of very expensive structures. I mean, the Battlecruiser itself, it's 400 minerals and 300 gas. Super pricey. Oh my god, poor Reaper. Did get shot right there by the tank. Yeah, this certainly needs to deal a little bit of damage. So let's see what Maru can actually do as soon as this Battlecruiser comes out. It's actually already teleported towards the natural right here of Cure. Good response here. Cure should be able to interference matrix it. And there we have it. I mean, interference matrix, it's not as powerful as it once was. It now costs... that was actually crazy. It now costs 75 energy to use that ability. In the past, it was 50, if I'm not mistaken. Interference matrix, though, very important ability. And you know what? Did that pay off? No, not really. Not really. Cure is going to be able to get that third command center going. And he's now going to make that transition towards the big bio bowl here in the center, or rather in the middle of the game. And, you know, that's going to be barracks 4 and 5 here for the time being. And it's going to be a factory follow-up here, actually, for Maru. So very cool. This is one of my favorite things about Terran versus Terran. Terran in general has a lot of different variety when it comes to their unit compositions, but obviously the 2 big branches are the bio branch, right? The one where you focus on infantry, the one that Cure is primarily going for right now. And then the one where you focus on mechanical units, like for example, siege tanks, Thors, cyclones, and you know, a bunch of flying units as well. This is a really cool way of playing TVT. It creates a very interesting dynamic though. So these SCVs were already pulled, I guess to like repair? They were pulled real early. He was so busy typing probably that he pulled the SCVs a little bit. I'm really curious though. I really want to know what they're saying. I'm assuming it's just friendly banter. Please let me know down below in the comment section. Someone. I'm sure there's a couple of people that speak Korean that are watching this. That'd be pretty sweet. Anyways, here we go. So the nice thing about Mech, right, is that it's extremely good defensively. It's very difficult to push into. Cure right now, though, is getting into a position. Yeah, there's only 1 tank sieged up right now. Second tank is joining in. There's no planetary over at the third, right? So Maru should be able to hold on here, but it's going to be a little bit harder than he ideally wants to. Now, these Battlecruisers, they're looking for the Yamato cannon. Yep, there it is. There's a siege tank gone. He immediately decides to jump away. Also, Yamato's another unit down too. And, well, Maru holds on just fine. Even though the interference matrix is going to shut down that BC for a little while, I think that this aggression for now has already been held. So the scary part about playing Mech is especially when it maxes out. Mech is scariest when it gets to the maxed out state, both when it comes to unit counts, but also upgrades. So there is an armory coming up right now here as well for Cure. There's 2. Okay, I was gonna say. I thought I only saw 1 right there, but Maru does decide to go for the 1-1 upgrades right at this point. And obviously going for Mech though, there's a couple of downsides, right? So first off, yeah, your front is gonna be really well defended and you can deal a lot of damage. But your main usually is gonna be very difficult to hold on to because your army is so slow. Like, you have to be in position before the fight happens. If the fight happens and you're out of position, it's basically game over. Now, Maru is an absolute god at this. He's very good at just simply defending and always putting those scans in the right spots, figuring out where the opponent's units are located, and then repositioning his own army. It's difficult to achieve, but once he maxes out, which isn't actually that far away right now, like he's gonna max out very quickly from here. Once he manages to do so, his army is gonna be absolutely terrifying. Upgrade-wise though, Cure currently ahead. I really would like to see him go for some drop play here in just a second. But, I mean, that's obviously going to be a little bit difficult to pull off at this point. The thing is, like, this Mech army is so immobile. There's, like, only 1 thing inside of that main base, right? He hasn't really gone for a lot of medevacs, though. Just focusing on Vikings here instead to try and get that air upper hand. A couple of Hellions now decided to move across, but reinforcing Terran units and this wall over here are going to be able to defend just fine. Okay. So very macro-focused game. I like this. This is the moment when the 4th base gets acquired, so this is also the moment where Terran has to spread himself even more thin. So there's a couple of what are they called? Siege tanks right here at the front. There's nothing though in the natural, and I think only 1 tank inside of the main base. Here we go. He doesn't want to allow the Terran player in red to get the planetary fortress up over here. Planetary is very difficult. Finally, Cure going for some multi-pronged harass as well. Sending out a couple more Marines and Marauders just on the edge right there of that sensor tower. So far though, Cure playing very cautiously. Just building up his own economy, adding on a ton of additional command centers here as well, and really trying to take absolutely 0 unnecessary risks. He knows that his opponent is essentially going to turtle here for a while. Apparently he's respecting Maru enough as well to, you know, not let him, to not really attack into him, and he's just pushing ahead when it comes to the economy, adding on 4 additional command centers right now, all at once. So yeah, Bio in general does not trade very efficiently against Mech. But if you obviously are outmining your opponent, you can get a lot of advantages there as well. So both players really playing this rather slower in the early game, but I'm liking this positioning for Cure quite a bit. Okay, here we go. Maru moves into the 3rd base with 2 Battlecruisers. Now you blink twice, this entire mineral line is gonna be gone. There's a lot of Vikings available, but here we go. 7 workers in total. Nothing too bad. Nothing too bad whatsoever. Once again, a couple of Hellions and Cyclones apparently threatening to run by. You don't necessarily want to have too many Hellions at this point in the game anyway. Siege tanks, though, are sieging up in a really powerful spot here. And, well, as you heard right there, the Thor is here. Thors are being added on right now as well by the South Korean Terran player. Actually, that's the worst description ever to give both of these guys, because they're both from South Korea. Okay. I kind of love this, though. Usually TVT is a lot more aggressive than this, in especially like the mid-game when upgrades and whatnot finish up, but both players just giving each other like a lot of respect here. Both of them are maxed out right now. This always makes me a little bit worried, though, for the Bio player, but he is going to be very far ahead here economically. Wouldn't even be surprised right here to see him add on additional workers once these, a couple of these units end up going down as well, because that way you can replace this army even more easily. Still though, I mean, how are you going to push into this, right? It's not like Cure isn't trying. He's constantly scanning. He's constantly trying to figure out where he can fight. Oh, that's a scary, scary Terran army. The siege tanks do manage to siege up though on both sides. Massive anti-armor missile does go down right there on all of those units in red. The Marauders actually now stem forward as well. They get a lot of those siege tanks pretty easily. The question is though, is there going to be enough left over right now? Cure does decide to land all of the Vikings as well. They gun down all of those siege tanks. And with that, Maru apparently says like, no, I have no idea what he's saying. I really want to know. I really hope it's just friendly banter. It's like, you motherfucker! How dare you kill my tanks with your Vikings? That's bad manner, do you know it? Okay, so that choke point right there was rough, right? That choke point was not quite the position you ideally want to fight into. Normally, though, the Bio player is the one that wants to have that concave, right? So the Bio player wants to be the one that has that concave, but I really feel like the anti-armor missile right there made all the difference. Anti-armor missile basically just removes armor off of units, meaning that they take additional damage from every single shot. So as long as those units are coated in the orange colors, you know that they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Now apparently this is the moment though where Cure wants to start putting down a little bit of aggression. I don't think he's got enough right here to kill that planetary fortress. Hellions already coming for the rescue. But he's just trying to like slow down his opponent while he's still expanding all over the map. It's kind of like we've drawn like a line, right? If you draw like a diagonal line from like bottom left to the top right hand corner of the minimap, that seems to be where Cure is cutting it off. Like you can take some of these bases, but no more than that. It actually doesn't happen all too often that like every single base on the map is taken, especially on a map as big as Nightshade. That's a lot of Thors, by the way. How many Thors is that already? 7 right now. He's adding on 3 more. Wow. Yeah, I like the fact that the Thors are very good right now. Seems like Maru is with me on that one. Thors are insane. The Thors obviously aren't very fast. It's not like they're particularly slow either, but they do need to be in position once again as well. You also do need to have some tanks there in the back of your army. By the way, this is the moment where we see the true maxed out force of Maru coming up in just a sec, right? So he's got 3/3 upgrades just about to finish up as well. He's got all of the anti-air in the world, right? He couldn't really win, like, the Viking Wars very much anymore, but now with these Thors added into the mix, they can shut down the Vikings quite easily. These gases are actually being shut down. I really like this. So, Mech is primarily dependent on gas, not so much minerals. So just slowing down these gases a little bit is actually quite a big deal. But obviously, all of this is just leading up to one big climax, right? Or at the very least, one of potentially several. And this might be the moment right here. The Liberators do siege up, but this time around, Cure does take a massive anti-armor missile. Now, he is sieged up. There's not a whole lot he can do. He can't really leave this area without losing all of his units. Most of the air units, though, from Maru do get picked off, but the Thors are still alive. That siege tank certainly will not live to tell the tale either, and Maru certainly does win that engagement, but he doesn't have enough to continue fighting here as well. The bio army is the bio army obviously much quicker when it comes to reinforcing. Here's the thing: once you get that air dominance, not only do your siege tanks shoot further away, you can make the transition towards Liberators right now. So 6 Liberators are being produced here at once by Cure. Having 6 Liberators produce all at once means that you can basically just siege on top of all of your opponent units with ease, right? Now, you can try and counter them with Thors, but Thors are also a little bit awkward. It's kind of like having too many Archons in your army when you play Protoss, you know? Like, when you have too many, they just sort of bump into each other, and they don't seem to be particularly smart anymore. So they're amazing, but you do need to have the space for them to, like, all shoot at once. Liberators, obviously, are flying units. They stack up all together. They are much quicker when it comes to sieging, but it's gonna be a battle where both players basically... It's like playing an RPG, and both players have spec'd all of their points in damage, you know? Not very much sustain. It basically comes down here between the Liberators and then also those big boys, the Thors. Alright, it's time for StarCraft trivia. What's this upgrade called, guys? Let me know. Another advantage, though, of... yeah, this is beautiful. Another advantage of Liberators is that you can zone really easily. So right now, these Thors are not gonna go through that circle. The planetary does fall. And with that, 22 SCVs as well. Beautiful move there by Cure. He still has the inferior... you know, army composition on paper, but his army is a lot more mobile, right? Mobility is huge in an RTS. Well, I mean, I say that, but Cure may actually kind of be caught right there in the top or right-hand corner. These tanks are getting into really strong positions. Maru knows where that army is located. This planetary will probably fall. Siege tanks are spreading out as well. Maru obviously does still have a lot of units, though, moving on that mini-map, right? There's a lot of Thor still moving across Liberators right now with that Liberator ranged upgrade. Absolutely capable of shooting away at a much further distance. Still, though, yeah, Maru's got him pinned into a corner, right? 5 Thors are coming up at once. This is insane. By the way, it's Corvid Reactor. There it is. It's a Raven upgrade. So, this is so odd. Seeing 5 Thors being produced at once and then 6 Liberators on the other side. I have no idea who wins this. Cure does still have a massive bank. Yeah, he just lost the base. The main problem, though, I guess, with losing that base... Oh, actually, hold that thought, because we do have a small hit squad of Marines, Marauders, and then a 1 Medivac, killing 3 of those reinforcing Thors as well. 1 siege tank going down, 2nd siege tank taking a lot of damage. Excellent trade right there by Cure. He lost the base on the right-hand side of the map. This does open up the opportunity for Maru right now to take this one right over here, but the bottom left, look at this. It's still taken by Cure, who's continuously expanding all over this map. Maru taking as many bases as possible as well. Would love to see him retake the expansion that he just lost. This base over here, though, is really important right now for Cure to deny. If he denies this, it's going to be much better for him, and it looks like he will actually be able to kill the command center as well. So goodbye, orbital command. No more scans from you. This is sick. TVT. I have no idea where it's gonna settle. I don't think anyone really knows at this point either. 1 tank apparently feeling brave enough to move on over towards this planetary fortress. This is mostly just here to be a nuisance. You have to, like, you have to send units in. Apparently it's just gonna be 1 Liberator. Liberator will be enough. Here we go, once again, Marines and Marauders managed to find a lot of that Terran army completely caught off guard. Anti-armor missile, though, does go down. 1 siege tank was picked off. I think a Thor may have gone down there as well. Maru, though, man, he's got a lot of Thors. How many does he have right now? He's up to 50 Thors and he's making more. That's crazy. I don't know if I've ever actually seen that many Thors in one game. Look at them. So once again, right, Thor's now basically shoot twice as fast at half damage. So I guess it makes him much better against like Liberators and Vikings as well. But it comes down to zoning here though. Look at the amount of Liberators. How many Liberators is that? 14 Liberators going up against 15 Thors. Just your regular good old game of TVT. Well, since they are not quite in the right spot, I think that command center will certainly be killed. Still though, this is a flank coming up from the north as well. The Vikings decide to land, and even though there's a massive anti-armor missile, all of the Thors just disappeared. Well, I mean, I say that. There's still 9 of them on the minimap somewhere. Oh, okay. Well, there they are. 5 additional Thors being produced here as well. So I would be 100% cool with this move here from Maru if it wasn't for all those bases in the bottom left. Like, he's got a lot of mining here in the bottom left-hand corner. It's not like Cure necessarily needs this base over here. Maru, on the other hand, I mean, yeah, he's gonna mine out this expansion here in a little bit. He's really now banking on his expansions on the northern section to really become, you know, his lifeline here in just a few minutes from now. He needs to start making moves, so his opponent's economy gets denied, I think, in the bottom left-hand corner. But the thing is, as soon as you cycle towards the bottom left, Cure will push towards the northern section and towards all of the juicy underbelly right there of Maru as well. So this army is mobile, but it's not nearly as mobile as like a bunch of Marines and Marauders inside of Medivacs, right? Not nearly as mobile as all of those Liberators. Poor Liberator over there, though. That's not gonna happen. We're up to 14 Thors going up against 15 Liberators. That's crazy numbers. Alrighty. Marines and Marauders, though, always valuable. Remember the third base? It wasn't a planetary back then. It still isn't. A good dodge right there on that anti-armor missile, not losing all of it. At the same time, though, the Thor army, once again, is marching forward. Needs to be careful. Those Liberators are not sieged up. Cure, wake up! I know you're busy microing over here trying to kill planetary fortress and all that, but you gotta wake up. There you go. Does manage to, at the very least, siege them up here eventually, but that base is not a planetary. Probably will go down. And speaking of planetaries that went down, one of them is indeed picked off right now on the left-hand side of the map, and I'm really starting to worry right here for Maru's income. He doesn't have that much anymore. Another base, though, has been acquired in the top right-hand corner. The Thors are still pushing forward. It's now going to be a transition towards Cyclones as well here for Maru. Still just Marine, Marauder, Liberator. By the way, how many Medivacs were made in this game? Am I blind? Wait, there's only one Medivac? Wait, hold up. Maru, can you hold just a second? Am I blind? Oh, no, it's 9. Okay, I was gonna say. Sorry, I was looking at right there, the top section of the screen. I was gonna say, I've seen more than just one, right? Am I crazy? No, a couple of them did end up going down. Oh, this Cyclone over here, though, doing a nice little bit of work as well. Base in the bottom left was cleaned up, too. Maru is likely gonna lose this command center over here as well, because there's nothing to repair it from burning down. Oh, man. It's such a slippery slope. One bad engagement for either of these two players and it's game over. Cure's bank, though. I'm still looking at it, guys. He took that base in the bottom left such a long time ago. It was completely undisturbed other than like one siege tank. Yeah, he lost a couple of bases as well, but he's been denying just as many expansions from the Terran player in red. And while Terran in red right now is maxed out, so Maru's army is certainly stronger in like a straight-up engagement, he's likely not going to be able to get that straight-up engagement, right? Cure continuously picking it off, not really allowing that big Terran ball to move across the center of the map. Well, that's exactly what Maru is trying to do right now. Siege tanks, oh my god, they are sieging up. They do a little bit of damage, but it was not quite in time. A lot of Thors do indeed get picked off. Oh man, this army though, it's still terrifying, right? Maru still has so much. Siege tanks and Thors. It's the classic mechanical unit composition. He's smelling blood in the water right now. He wants to end this game right here, right now. Reinforcing Terran units, though, are coming up here for Cure. He's building much, much quicker. Let's see what he can pull off. Here we go once again. Liberator sieging up in a really good spot as well. Siege tanks in the back, though, dealing a little bit of damage. One of the Thors actually is stuck right there, just because the siege tanks are taking up too much space. 8 SCVs get picked off there as well. I feel like I've said the words picked off at least 20 times already. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of things getting killed. Alright. So Maru. He's 60 supply behind, but when you look at this position here, I like it a lot better for him. That's the nice thing about TVT as well. Even when you're behind supply-wise, you can still actually win. Apparently, Cure has decided that he wants to go ahead and do some drop harass right now. He's not been dropping a whole lot this game, but this is the moment that he's been waiting for. This Terran army here, yeah, it's doing a lot of damage, but it's not going to be able to get into the main base. Look how much is waiting here. If Maru decides to move up there, that army is gone. He can't actually engage the main base. And this is the moment, apparently, where Cure really starts that drop harass. He's just simply zapping units all over the map. Now, there's one siege tank and one Thor over there, too, trying their very best to finish off this planetary fortress. I don't think it's gonna happen. Units right now dropping inside of the Natural as well. Maru tried to engage a base over here, did manage to kill the command center, but he can't get to the juicy underbelly here. He can't get to the production. Cure pulling further and further ahead when it comes to the supply count. Couple of reinforcing units here as well for Maru, but he's got only a little bit of mining right now. The income here for Maru is pretty much down the drain. Still though, another command center taking a lot of damage over here as well. I feel like this one will likely be picked off. Cure's gonna kill, or Cure's gonna lose another one of those command centers. This is apparently the moment, though, that he was waiting for. He's like, okay, he's left the main. I'm gonna try and see if I can push him away from this location on the map. Still, you can't chase this army down. He's likely gonna lose the planetary in the top right-hand corner as well. Oh, the Thors are moving forward. Careful, careful, careful. The siege tank needs to siege up. Oh, without the siege right there, yeah, you can just stim forward. That's exactly what Cure decides to do. He presses the stim pack button and stims all of those Marines and Marauders in a massive concave. I think that might just be a little bit too much. And Cure is indeed the one who obtains the victory as Maru decides to GG out of this game. Incredibly well done. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. And other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you once again in the next one.